And welcome back to another edition of the John Wayne Surge Protector Podcast. I'm Eric Halsey.
Oh, I'm Alex Midway, and apparently we're speaking extra slow today. And yeah,
It's called enunciating, so our AI overlords can properly run closed captions on our YouTube page, which you should go out and join. And we desperately need your help, listeners. We've got a little bit of a scenario from this weekend, and we need some feedback and interesting punishments ideas.
I mean, our scenario is essentially a continuation. We're still poor. We were going to try to work our way out of a gutter, but that has not changed.
So, for those of you out of the loop and new listeners, so every week in our hometown fantasy football league, we run a parlay where everyone from the league picks one leg. So this past week we had a little extra cash, so we went balls to the wall, and almost everybody picked a long shot, and eventually came out to about $20 to pay out 30 grand. And we hit all but one leg. That leg being the Commanders got absolutely skunked, and they were selected at -1.5. So immediately I felt sick to my stomach. I messaged a different commissioner from a different league and said, "Hey man, what do you think?" And his immediate response was, "You cannot be friends with this person anymore."
Yeah, I mean, the worst part about it, like, other than the fact we didn't get the 30K, it's the softest bet that broke it. We had one guy who said, "Hey man, a DST is gonna score a touchdown," and that was plus 800. And that one hit. And that's when everyone started checking theirs. Like, boy, oh boy, mine did it too. Like, I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. And then one last guy said, I didn't do blank. I was thinking about this just now. You think it would have been better if it was close to the Commanders actually covering, or the fact that they lost 31 enough and you're like, yeah, we had no chance? No, no, no. I understand that. If somebody down there, like you said, Philip Rivers is coming back and no one knew about it, and that didn't hit for some reason. What I'm saying is, if the spread was 1.5 points and the Commanders had lost by 2 points, do you think that would have stung more, or the fact that they didn't even put up a single point on the board? You're like, this was the dumbest bet by far out of the entire night. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the fact that it wasn't even close, like we were out of a game, like everything else is just hitting, and that one's like the line's not moving. Was he was a dear friend. Yeah, this one's open to the boys at Palantir listening in too. We're always interested to see what you guys do with the black sites of CIA. So share your wisdom. So just send him to Gaza. Dress him up as a kid. Yeah. So let's get to the usuals. Tesla update as always, 4:45 on Tuesday. Not much moving back and forth. Went to 4:46, and the quick news that I found is SpaceX is actually planning to do an IPO for their $1.5 trillion company. And Elon said, "But hey, man, if you owe some Tesla stock, you might get a chance to get in on the IPO for another one of his companies. So that stopped it from dropping down because the news also came out that Tesla has had the lowest sales in nearly 4 years, despite lowering the prices, giving out free things. Like, less people want to buy it and sales are dropping, but stock price still goes up, I guess. So we're not even going to spend a lot of time on that one. It's not much movement. It just keeps going up. It's a zombie. Let's get into the things that also kind of doesn't make any sense, but some new things have happened. Great update. Apparently, Donald wants to give his BFF Putin something nice by Christmas because a lot of chatters kind of emerged that he wants to have a peace treaty in Ukraine. And we went from a 20-point plan to a 19-point. Well, we went from 28 to 19, now to 20. And it's kind of funny because, like, they're calling in this latest one, they're calling for a free economic zone. And this administration just keeps Freudian slipping. Like, we just care about the money everywhere. Because when you're talking about peace and, like, any kind of treaty, like, you gotta, like, no one jams an economic zone into a place that's bombed out, but these guys did. He is. And the best thing is, like, it gets even better because a free economic zone is actually in the Donbass region where Ukraine is. And the place is bombed out. And it's the plan to create that free economic zone is to have Ukraine just leave that area. And then after that, it serves kind of like as a DMZ between North and South Korea. And the great thing is, the area that they're calling the buffer zone is the exact area that Russia currently wants, and Russia doesn't have to pull back at all from their thing. And we're just going to be expecting Russia to not walk into this area after Ukrainian troops leave. Like, anywhere else we should march back? Like, yeah, you could make it all back way back to Kiev. That'd be a pretty good DMZ. Look, how is this economic? What economics you plan on doing there? Just selling rubble? It's like, oh no, we're just here for the money and the rare minerals. I mean, peace. Well, that's what Europe's calling for. That's not what the US is calling for. No, what was it? We're having technical difficulties and that person has just killed themselves. Someone give that man a gun. So, in addition to selling out just Ukraine as we're trying to do, we're the people of Kentucky, Thomas Massey, to be actually a little bit specific, he went ahead and introduced a bill called "Not a Trusted Organization Act." It's essentially a bill to get us out of NATO. And it's talking about the whole thing. It's like NATO's useless. The reason it was started is because the Soviet Union had been kind of like the counterbalance the Warsaw Pact, which was a bunch of these satellite states down there. And he's like, no, there's no more Soviet Union. We don't need NATO. And they use a very different argument when talking about guns and how everyone should have a gun and it's only good people with guns who protect. Like, oh no, now we don't even need guns down there. Like, NATO's pointless. Like, there's peace, so we don't need weapons. Like, which one is it, man? Like, you want to get rid of an alliance to protect a continent in the middle of someone from the East invading that continent. Like, I don't know, man. Like, that seems like the worst time to break up a friendship. Well, if you agree with that tyranny needs being done to somebody else, but it's technically not tyranny. It's what I voted for, man. Yeah. Also, this guy should be in office for 3 terms. You're li- like Pam Bondi's legit building a database of gun owners. Are like, hell yeah, boy, this is awesome. Like, this administration loves us. Like, no, dude, they hate you. Like, like finally, he's gonna make beef $2 again. Like, that's not the point why they're asking how many guns you own. As a wise man once said, put a pin in that. But like another argument in there, and it's the fact that they say that Europe has not been contributing to NATO, and there is a number of GDP that they need to spend, and Trump's called them out even since the first time he was in office, and I'll recognize it. Trump was right on that one. They were definitely underspending, but the whole thing about when Russia invades one of your neighbors, it tends to get everybody off the pot and kind of back into the fields. The amount of GDP that they're spending, well, Germany's not up to pre WW2 levels yet, but they're headed in that direction, and that stock is doing just fine. So if you don't have a war portfolio, you're missing out. Stick to Europe, and boys are chugging. But the whole thing is like a lot of his stuff's kind of like parroting a lot of the stuff that is being said by Russia. And it's the same thing as like the 28 point when it first came out. Like some of his stuff in it doesn't make any sense. Like the whole thing is, like some of the stuff in there, they're talking about the whole thing with NATO. It's like NATO, they just keep pushing it like an expansionist. They're warmongers. We keep adding more nations to it. It's like, well, the reason more people are joining NATO, a lot of it happens after like Russia invades Ukraine. No one was joining NATO for a hot minute, and Russia's like, cool, we're taking Crimea. Like, oh boy. Like, people started joining it shortly afterwards. But the way that they wrote in this whole, this new peace deal, it's essentially like the same thing that he said. He's like, oh yeah, it's like Putin a lot of times likes to bring up 1990. 1990, he says president of NATO told the Soviet Union back then, it's like, yeah, they're never going to expand anymore. And he's like, no, and NATO's been expanding. But the downside to that is 1990, do you happen to know who the president of Soviet Union, well, the premier of the Soviet Union was? It was. And Gorby had himself a little bit of a presser. In the presser, he had an interview. He's like, hey man, did they tell you that NATO said they're not going to expand? No. He's like, I don't know where people keep coming up with is like, no one ever told me NATO's not expanding. Like, we were never given those guarantees. And yet Putin just keeps claiming it every time. Just like Trump is out there talking about cats and dogs getting eaten, and it never effing happened. God, God forbid. But I want to finish up this whole section with kind of tying it back to last time, weaving it back to last time. The WTF does this have to do with me? And to that I answer, and feel free to Google it, STG defense. A little small Ukrainian company just went ahead and made a mother effing invisibility cloak. And last episode, we told you about the, I think it was Thermodyne FLIR, FLIR. It actually stands for forward looking infrared. It's kind of like thermal imaging. You can actually get these things for your phone. You can use it to look behind walls in a commercial thing, or you can use it to find people in the field and drop bombs on them. So we gave them a contract for about $42.5 million worth of drones that see in infrared. Ukraine just went ahead and made a cloak out of it. It's called multispectral camouflage. And if you take a look at it, if you ever Google the SDG defense, even on their first front page, it has one guy just moving down there without the cloak, and it's got two dudes in it. It's a whole lot tougher to see what's going on. And if we're switching to drones, that's a game changer. We don't have flying cars yet, but we definitely have that. And I do like the dad joke of "You're never gonna see this invisibility cloak." Ha ha. So all politics is local, so let's keep it local. Go down to Florida real quick, because something huge happened down there. Did you see that? Nope. The giant state. Yeah, it's still shaped like a pistol, still attached to us. But what happened down there is we have a first Democratic mayor in Miami since 1997, and kudos to Eileen Higgins, about as white as you can be. She actually beat out Emilio Gonzalez, a candidate that was actually backed by Trump. And a while back, they actually had the whole election back in November. Eileen got 35%, Gonzalez had 19%. And since neither one of them got 50%, they had to have a runoff. In this runoff, well, as soon as they found out they needed a runoff, Trump went ahead and posted on Truth, as Miami's next mayor, he will fight tirelessly to grow the economy, cut taxes and regulation, advance made in the USA, unleash American dominance, keep our now very secure border secure, all capitals, stop migrant crime, whatever. Defend our always under siege Second Amendment. Like, no one's coming after your guns, but apparently that's the thing. He hit on everything. And the one thing he didn't hit on was Gonzalez's name, because he spelled out one wrong. So he knows what the talking points are. He doesn't know the guy's name. I mean, like, we kept like lashing out at Biden, but this guy's tweeting at 3 in the morning calling Fifi like, that's just Trump being Trump. It's all right. Like, no, he has nuclear codes, man. Like, that's not normal. So let's go over to this one right here. Honestly, if you thought that these guys were gerrymandering hard before, this has to be setting off alarms in the GOP, because first of all, 3 decades of that place being red, the fact that Trump carried the Miami-Dade area by double digits, like, it has them all panicking. It has to. And Higgins, it's even crazy because she ran on a very weird concept of something called affordability. Oh, affordability. There it is. Don't Yeah, affordable, whatever it is. And Gonzalez, and this part's hilarious. He's fighting back against corruption and cronyism, and the fact that he's running right now, and you have a president just selling the country and just giving his kids whatever he wants. He's like, yeah, man, we're fighting back on corruption and cronyism. Like, we f you are. Yeah, affordability. That's a good one. So I haven't seen what Trump has tweeted about this one. He used to just get on it real quick. Like, anytime he endorsed a candidate, he's like, "Oh, my candidates have done nothing but win." But like, you've got Miami going blue, and I haven't seen anything. I mean, it's got to tell you that the people are tired of it, and the fact that we're probably going to have martial law in a couple months. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Well, I vote for Donald Trump. That's Florida. Anytime you see those stupid boat rally where a bunch of them like go out there with Trump flags, like that's Florida. And one thing that they were talking about in the article during the COVID like lockdowns, a lot of people in New York and California, which had the most stringent lockdowns, because I don't know, population effing density. When you're that close, you probably shouldn't be outside, but they all ran away because freedom and they went down to Florida. So a lot of the people down there kind of have the same mindset that I'm a sheepdog by putting on a mask. Well, that's infringing on my rights as a human being. So a lot of them vote red. No, those are pockets down there. I mean, essentially, you also go to Florida. It's also retirement. It's people who want to keep more of their wealth. It's people who already have the money, like the elderly, and they want less and less taxes. Like F the young people, like they just can't have abortion. That's the only thing they want to make sure that is put on the young people. But school lunches, anything else, like nah. If it comes away from my retirement check, you can go pound sand. I worked for this. My guy, we've been to Duval. That's still Florida. You think it gets better the southern you go? But let's take a trip. I'll buy your plane ticket. I got some credits for me not flying to Europe on Delta. I'll buy it for you. If I'm right, you buy me a ticket to Europe. If I'm wrong, I'll buy you a ticket back to Missouri, where we're based. So let's, yeah, yeah, Red Kingdom and such. What's it called? Let's talk about Trump's speech in PA. If you're gonna give an actual speech to be uneducated and a mouth breathing like middle of Pennsylvania, well, that's almost heaven for you. And we talked about this beforehand. Do you know where this thing was held? It was in a casino. He's doing the same places like Journey's touring in. So he's got a speech on there and he's hitting all the basics. He's out there blaming Biden. He's saying he had the worst inflation like right off the bat. Gas prices were $18 a gallon. I mean, I don't think he's ever filled up his own car or been to a grocery store, but it is what it is. But now he's saying like, oh, it's down to $2. In reality, the inflation was 3% across the board. Is one of the nicest economies. Like the fact that we didn't go into recession past the COVID, we did a whole lot better than most of Europe. Like that alone is amazing. You got to give Biden credit where credit's due. And the whole thing about the buck 99 gas, like there's a couple gas stations that do have it apparently, but no one really did a study of what the gas to water mix in that one is. So I take that with a little grain of salt. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's $1.99 for him, and I mean, I would imagine it's probably at the local Piggly Wiggly when you spend $80. Or I mean, what does that equate to? About 4 pounds of beef nowadays? Yeah, if you're lucky and if you have a coupon. But he didn't get done on that one. He's been railing about immigration, and he did a whole thing. He's like, "I love Isilon Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with her little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but female dog. She's always complaining. She comes from her country where I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world. And boy, oh boy, like." If you want to get the people in middle Pennsylvania riled up, just tell them something about a colored person. Those people go wild. It's like a WWE front row ticket to them. Like it's insane. Like he then goes on and he talks about he's like Somalia's got no military, and Omar married her own brother, and he's like it's true she married her own brother, and Somalia does have a military. They actually came out in a like because Trump was saying he's been dunking on Somalia for a minute now. Like you think he just watched Black Hawk Down? He's like, that's my cross to bear, baby. And he's just been talking about them. He's like, maybe we'll just send troops in there. And Somalia's like, hey man, we'll take the aid. We have some issues, but like, don't come in here and take us over. And the whole thing about her marrying her brother, that's completely not true. And in case one of your friends brings it up, Omar went ahead and her family fled him back in 1995. They were also granted asylum in the U.S. After 5 years of asylum, you're allowed to actually seek citizenship, and that's what she did. As far as boinking her brother, I didn't think we'd get into this one, but Ilya and Omar's marriage history is as follows. Ahmed Abdisalan Hirsi, she married him back in 2002 in a traditional Muslim faith ceremony. She had 2 kids, later separated. 2009, she married a British citizen, Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi. In a civil marriage, she left him in 2011. Now, she also remarried the first husband, and I believe she's with him right now. And honestly, I don't know why he hates her. It's a chick with multiple divorces. Like, if anything, she has so much in common with Trump. That's a weird one right there, coming back. But then again, she did have 2 kids with a guy, so maybe something's different. It could be breaking the norm. I don't know. Again, I never thought we'd be talking about Omar's marriage history on the podcast when we first dreamed this thing up, but here we are. If a girl wants to marry her ex, like, whatever, that's her. Like, it doesn't work out for most people, but I'm not stopping you. We have our own problems at home, and one of those problems happens to be the fact that we're still blowing up drug boats. And, like, well, you might not see it, but the drug boats was in quotes. But finally, we have some numbers, not on the amount of drug boats we've blown up or how many more we plan on doing, but we're saving 25,000 Americans every time we blow one up. And I do like Trump for reading the room. He's like, the whole thing beforehand was like, there used to be 19,427 people crossing the border before. He's like, no, no, no. These people know numbers like that. He's like, 25,000 are saved every time we blow up a drug boat. Like, that's a very round number. I was like, do all of these boats carry the exact same amount of, like, fentanyl? Like, apparently so. Like when Reagan first unveiled his whole like war on drugs back in the day from the White House, they literally sent someone out from his Secret Service out in town to buy a crack rock. Like that guy had to go to jail because they got that big. Like the fact that they're using props for this, can't even get the real stuff. Like you're not committed to the craft, man. Right now, I have plans to be worth 10 times these briefcases. It's like if it works for Elon, it works for me. So again, like the smartest person in the room all the time, every time. Like he was talking about the double tap. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, as far as that, it's like it looks like they were just trying to turn the boat over. He's like, I don't know what they were doing. I don't get involved in that. And honestly, like my guy who's an expert on wind farms, he's an expert on legal stuff, he's an expert on everything. Like, take a look at it. If Trump comes out and he tells you, like, hey man, I don't know anything about that, like that dude's guilty. Because every time they're asking him about Epstein, he's like, no clue, never been to an island before in my life. I just stay right here. News to me. And it's like, have you seen any of these? They released some of these unclassified videos of the boat strikes. Have you seen them? All right. Well, there's a couple of them, and it's a rinky dinky boat versus a Hellfire missile. Like when that Hellfire missile hits it, it doesn't like pop up like Sonic, and a bunch of little rings slash cocaine bricks could go flying out of it. Like that thing just explodes and it's burning there. Like if anything, these guys are trying to turn that stupid boat over so they can just sit on top of it because the whole thing's burning. It's completely unusable. Like it makes no sense. Yeah, yeah, and it's like a lot of the people will always like be like, well, it's like the NRA is like, well, if we start doing background checks on people who just get out of mental hospitals, next thing you know, we'll be doing background checks on lawful citizens. Like, that's not the slippery slope every time. Like, this might be a slippery slope. Like, if we start blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela, what's not to say we're going to start blowing off boats off the coast of us because that's even closer. And now that's a bigger chance that your boat might have drugs on it. So we just took a Hellfire missile to it. Like, you guys have any proof? Like, I don't know, check the water. Probably's got drugs in it. Like, most of it is done by white folks. I would imagine it would be a couple trucks with MAGA stickers getting Hellfires to them. We gotta stop it. Like, we can't have our best citizens. Like, we already, I mean, we're not gonna be the dominant race in this country in a few years, so we gotta do what we can. So, hold my beer, said Trump, as he claimed that the Democrats, and this is verbatim, want a transgender for every member in your family. He added, if they're not feeling well that night, let's just change their sex. And then Trump went on